American television dramedy sitcom Rock aired on Fox from August 25, 1991 to May 10, 1994. It was created by the late writer, producer, director, composer, and lyricist Stan Daniels, who'd previously worked on 2 hit 70s sitcoms, The Mary Tyler Moore Show and Taxi. He also took on directing duties along with television and film director and television producer Stan Lathan. The theme song, called God Bless the Child, was performed by Jerry Lawson for the first season and the first half of the second season. It was a more modern a cappella cover on the 1942 Billie Holiday song.
Them that's got shall have, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still isn't new. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got it on. That's got shall get, that's not shall lose. Then that's got shall get, then that's not shall lose.
For the remainder of the second season and the third season, a new theme song called Live Your Life Today was performed by female R&B group En Vogue. The series stars Charles S. Dutton as Baltimore garbage collector Charles Emerson, nicknamed Rock, and Ella Joyce as his wife Eleanor, a nurse, an ordinary couple saving for the American dream, a home of their own. They share their small row house with Rock's very opinionated father, Andrew Joseph Emerson Sr, or Pop, played by Carl Gordon, and Rock's unemployed, happy-go-lucky brother, Andrew Joseph Emerson Jr, or Joey, played by Rocky Carroll. Fun fact, Carl Gordon didn't even begin his acting career until the age of 40. All 4 principal members were all accomplished stage actors and had become acquainted with each other while appearing in various August Wilson plays on Broadway. Charles, Rocky, and Carl in The Piano Lesson, for which Charles earned a Tony Award nomination, and Ella in 2 Trains Running. Fun fact, one of Charles's requirements for doing Rock was that the cast include stage actors, particularly his 2 buddies from The Piano Lesson. As far as the name of the show goes, it came directly from Charles. Rock had been his nickname ever since he got into neighborhood rock fights as a kid. He told the LA Times, "I always had a habit of trying to lead the charge, so I would get my head busted twice a month, so my friends started calling me Rockhead. Then when I started boxing as an amateur, it was shortened to Rock." In the beginning though, Charles wasn't too sure he was the right choice to play the role of Rock, telling Jet Magazine in 1991, "I didn't see myself in television sitcoms, although I love comedy. I felt that with my stage background, I just didn't fit in. I didn't want to get stuck and be seen only as a television actor." Fun fact, just like his character, Charles grew up in the inner city of Baltimore, Maryland. According to Charles, the original idea called for the series to be a Black Honeymooners, the 1950s sitcom made famous by Jackie Gleason and Art Carney. There was even talk of his character being a bus driver like Jackie's character, but they decided to go in a different direction while still keeping it blue collar. We threw different occupations around: janitor, security guard, coach, cab driver, etc. Then I started looking at my city and thought, what occupation do we take most for granted? What happens when garbage is not picked up, especially in the summer? I hope to do something about the stigma attached to being a trash collector. Charles even knew a real-life example in Baltimore garbage man John Wood. John and Charles grew up in the same neighborhood, and Charles recalled him as a man everyone respected. Fun fact, Charles's shaved head is not part of Rock's personality. It was left over from his role in the film Alien 3. For Rock, they tried different hairstyles, but the bald look worked best. Charles S. Dutton really has come a long way, from doing time to prime time. Yup, in his youth, Charles behaved badly and was punished accordingly. When he was 17, he was involved in a street fight that escalated into a knife fight. He and his assailants stabbed each other, only he survived. He was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 5 years of imprisonment. He was out on parole for only a few months when he returned to prison for possession of a deadly weapon, a handgun. When a prison riot broke out, he participated and punched a guard. He was sentenced to an additional 8 years of imprisonment. So how did he turn things around? He told Jet, "One day, a girlfriend of mine sent me an anthology of Black playwrights just out of the blue, something to read and calm me down. I had only been reading leftist literature. I was about to spend 6 days in isolation for insubordination, and I grabbed the book and read it from cover to cover." When he left the hole, he convinced the warden and a prison teacher, who was also a local actress, to start a prison drama program. Preparing for the group's weekly meetings and rehearsals gave him purpose. While in prison, Charles received his GED and then an associate's degree in theater. Paroled in 1976, he continued to further his education by obtaining a bachelor's degree in theater and finally a master's degree in acting from the Yale School of Drama. Ella was in a theater production when her agent called her about the audition for Rock. She told the story to the LA Times. "I told him I wasn't interested in doing television right now, and then he told me it was starring opposite Charles Dutton. Back then, I was just like a little groupie, like any other fan waiting for him after a performance." Just 6 months after Jet Magazine featured a story on the brand new sitcom, they did it again. But this time, they were able to talk about its positive results. Charles said he believed the success of the show was related to the realistic nature of the characters. "People like the down-to-earth quality of the four of us. It's compelling and not just a silly sitcom. The show is grounded in reality." Ella attributed the success to talent and chemistry. "We really have a talented cast. That's pretty obvious to the world. We have a wonderful relationship with the writers and producers. They listen to us. That has a lot to do with us becoming a hit." As far as reviews go, the LA Times had a fairly positive take on the show. "If only Rock collected as many laughs as he does garbage." Although this hybrid series, supplied to Fox by HBO Independent Productions, was originated by the richly pedigreed Stan Daniels, who co-created Taxi and was one of the producers of The Mary Tyler Moore Show, the setup is rather routine sitcom fare. Yet the characters are interesting enough, the cast skilled enough, and the comedy just barely funny enough to merit future monitoring of this noisy family saving for a brighter future. Entertainment Weekly started off its review with some praise, but things quickly went downhill from there. "The best thing about this sitcom is that its cast is an instant ensemble. They immediately communicate a sense of ease and familiarity with each other's comic rhythms. Rock was created by Stan Daniels, one of the folks who gave us Taxi, and the series pilot was directed by James Burrows, a co-creator of Cheers. So you just know that this show will probably never get any better than its first episode. This makes Rock's mediocrity all the more depressing. What with its condescending jokes about Rock's yearning for a semi-detached house and his habit of furnishing his present home with items he picks out of the garbage he collects. Rock premiered before the Emmy Awards on Sunday, August 25th, 1991 at 7:30 p.m. It would then move to its regular time slot on Sundays at 8:30, between two of the network's most popular half hours, In Living Color and Married with Children. During the first season of Rock, the sitcom made history. In episode 8, titled Can't Help Loving That Man, audiences are introduced to Rock's gay Uncle Russell, played by Shaft actor Richard Roundtree, who surprised his family members when he revealed plans to tie the knot with his male partner Chris, played by Stephen Paletti. In what's believed to have been a network television first, the 1991 episode concluded with the mixed-race couple's wedding, which, since same-sex marriage was still years away from being legal in any U.S. state, amounted to a symbolic commitment ceremony. One thing that Rock, unfortunately, has in common with many other Black shows is it being created by a group of largely white writers. Stan Daniels and the show's executive producers, Brian Pollock and Mert Rich, who had previously written for the hit comedy series Cheers. Brian and Mert were in charge of a team of 6 writers, only 2 of whom are Black. Charles spoke to the New York Times on the matter, saying, "No Black show has exclusively Black writers. That is just not the way of Hollywood. But if we are successful, I'm not going to sit around and let the show stay all white. I think we need more Black writers and more women. After a successful live episode, guest starring Charles's then wife, Debbie Morgan, was broadcast in the first season, the producers and the network took a major risk and agreed to air every episode of the second season as a live performance. In the third season, some significant changes took place. There were no more live tapings, the show's time slot got moved from Sundays to Tuesdays, and children were finally introduced to the cast. Fun fact, no children appeared on the show up to this point because Charles was adamant about not including them. He felt it would set Rock apart because all the other sitcoms did have them. Then, after 3 seasons, Fox canceled Rock, citing poor ratings. According to Nielsen, official tracker of who watches what, Rock ranked 117th among 124 shows. According to the network, they made every effort to lure a larger audience. Shortly after the news broke, petitions began circulating in various cities to get the show back on the air. The moment the announcement came down, Charles spoke to the Baltimore Sun and didn't hold back. When a show like that can get treated the way it's been treated for 3 seasons, and I can tell you now with total disrespect, when a show like that can get axed so easily, that is very good proof that what little quality there is in television is reserved solely for white people. The Orlando Sentinel reported an accusation from Charles that Fox washed its hands of Rock long ago. He says the network never promoted Rock the way it did such shows as Melrose Place and Married with Children. Charles also said that Fox began to lose interest in Rock after the show started getting, quote, the rap of being a racist show, end quote. He described his relationship with Fox as strained, and that tension developed because of his insistence on rewriting episodes, particularly storylines centered around race. The many run-ins with the show's writers, mostly white, Charles explained was a result of them being insensitive to Black experiences. In an interview with the Baltimore Sun posted on May 10, 1994, what would be the day the final episode of Rock aired, Charles admitted at the time that he wasn't even sure if that episode was, in fact, the end of the series. The article also reported that the networks would announce their full schedule during the next 2 weeks. So, sadly, the cast of Rock didn't know it was over until it was already over. Charles stated, though, that the show has been treated that same way the last 2 years, not knowing whether it would be renewed until Fox announced its fall schedule the last week of May. In the fall of 1994, BET came to the rescue and aired a never-before-seen episode of Rock. The episode, titled The Rock That Dreams Are Made Of, was greatly hyped up by the Baltimore Sun, claiming that it contained some of the finest acting to be witnessed on television that season. So if it was so great, why didn't Fox air it during the show's original run? According to a spokesperson for BET, the reason is simple. It didn't air because Fox chose not to. The network declined to comment, but a source familiar with the production says Fox thought the episode was, quote, too downbeat, and that the, quote, subject matter was a little touchy. Carl Gordon passed away on July 20th, 2010, at his home in Jetersville, Virginia, due to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He was 78 years old. While Rock may not have ended the way the cast or the fans would have liked it to, the show accomplished a lot during its run. Charles said there is some consolation he can take with him. After 3 seasons, I can walk away from it and sing the song of Frank Sinatra. I did it my way.